Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Live. It's live. It's Wednesday morning, and I had Tuesday up here, and then I erased. I was going to write Wednesday, and damn, I didn't know how to spell Wednesday, so I hope I got it right here. I do that often. If I know how to spell stuff if I just write it, but if I pause. Suddenly there's a blank space, and maybe I don't even know how to spell my name, but not that seriously. But anyway, I've always had that freeze. It's a brain freeze when I'm supposed to, when I question if I know something. You know what I mean? It's like, I know my social security number, but somebody says, "What's your social security number?" There may be a brain freeze. And then once that happens, there's no way I can find it. Now I start going in a tape loop. You see. And this is just a particular mini neurosis of my own mind that I've had to enjoy struggling with my whole life, because it's had great wisdom for me. The tape loop, the brain freeze, the when you're being looked at, when you're being observed and you freeze like the deer in the headlight, and then you don't know nothing. I don't know anything now. And the more you struggle, now the anxiety comes in. Oh, I'm being watched, and they know I don't know anything. I'm being watched, and they know I don't know how to open the box. And this little game happens with my wife all the time, because she knows how to open the box. Even yesterday, when the dishwasher got plugged up and wouldn't drain, and so I was trying to see if I could get it fixed and avoid the $80 service fee. And so I took the baskets out, and I put some vinegar and baking soda and hot water in the drain to see if it would free it. And fortunately, my wife said, "Don't." I was going to mix it on the counter, and she said, "Whoa, don't do that. You put it in separately." And when I poured it in separately, it went like that. Boy, anyway, so I took the baskets out, and I was messing. I couldn't fix it, so I was going to put this was the day before yesterday, so I was resigned to having the repairman come. So I was going to put the basket back in, and the door's open, and I got the basket, the bottom basket, and I can't get it to fit on the door. And my wife's standing there watching, and she says, "Put it in the dishwasher." Oh, so I took it. The rails for the basket was in the dishwasher, and I just noticed this with a laugh, because it is such a typical impasse in my mind, is that when I'm being watched, I will keep trying to put the square peg in the round hole. Fit, damn it, fit, damn it, fit. And somebody stands there, it's over there. Oh, anyway. So I had the thought, preparing and not preparing for this talk was interesting this morning. I've been revisiting Ken Wilber, and here he is. And the book I bought these books maybe 10 years ago. I used to buy a lot of books 10, 20 years ago, and I got a big library full of books. I don't buy many anymore, but what I do is I will go back and revisit a writer and find them. I'm reading them for the first time, But I know I'm not, because when I go through the book, I see all the marks that I made the previous time I read it. But it's still kind of that Alzheimer effect, where you read the same headline, like it's for the first time. So I'm reading it for the first time, and yet I know I've read it before. And so this is great for me. This is it's a way to measure my own evolution, because if I see deeper into a teaching the second time around, well, that indicates that I have expanded my understanding, so that you are reading behind the lines, and that's where the truth is. It's behind the lines. It's not the content. It's the depth behind the lines. So when you find a teacher or a writer that you resonate with, don't put it on the shelf and forget about it. Come back. Or read everything they wrote. If you find one book, read everything they wrote. And this was the advice of Joseph Campbell. And then, because he really enlightened himself through study, and so you find a writer that you resonate with, you read everything they wrote, and then you begin to see who they resonated with, and you read what they wrote. So it becomes like an adventure of interconnecting threads that go deeper and deeper and deeper, you see. And so this way you follow your curiosity. It's being on the scent of truth. You smell the light like a flower. You sense the light and you turn towards the light. I have somebody gave me some African violets because they wouldn't care for them. And I was thankful, because my mother always had African violets. And they liked the east light. So she had a sun porch with the east window. And the little violets would sit there. And they would, when the sun rose, the sun would pull the flowers out of the leaves. Just pull the flowers up, you see. They just loved that eastern sun, the rising sun. And they would just be pulled up, you see. And so, anyway, my violets just outgrew the bowl, and I neglected them. And so I was happy that somebody gave me some more violets to sit in the eastern window of my meditation room. So both the violets and I can rise in the morning around 4:30 or 5 and wait the rising of the eastern sun together. And so I've been reading The Simple Feeling of Being by Ken Wilber. Now, Ken Wilber is an amazing philosopher, mystic. He combines the two. He's an integral thinker. He's not really creating a new philosophy. He's integrating all that has come before, all the different scientists, psychology, all the different scientists, therapies and everything, the philosophies, the historical evolution, everything, the whole field, and he integrates it into an integrated vision. But at the same time, he's a mystic. He's a meditation practitioner. So he's not just describing the evolution of consciousness and the integration of consciousness. He's doing it. He's practicing it, and he's sharing in a poetic way, in a mystical way, his inward journey. So he's sharing, and this particular book here, Simple Feeling of Being, is basically a composite of different sections from his previous books that are very personal and poetic and mystical. So it's rare that you get both, a philosopher and a poet, a mystic and a scientist, in the same mind. And that's why he talks about integral. And I can understand integral. And because and I had this thought this morning too. I was sitting on like I said, I get up, I get up at between 4 and 5, and I meditate until 6. And then I come down and I go on the front porch, and the eastern sun is just coming up right over there, and there are plants on the front porch, and the early morning trucks are going by, and a few early morning joggers are running by, and I'll read, and I'll rest, and I'll sit with the plants on the front porch as the eastern sun rises. And of course, this morning it's been really nice. The last 2 or 3 weeks it's been hotter than hell out there. So, but now it's been very delightful. So I was thinking about, well, I felt this tension. What am I going to say here on my live, my show, my performance, my show here? What am I? And this. And so I began to sense the effort and a little bit of anxiety. Well, I don't really have any big idea. I really don't have anything important to say. So there's a little tension. And then I just began to relax with that, and just relax into the feeling, into the simple feeling of being. The simple feeling of being on the front porch when the sun is rising, when the world is going by. I had the trees, the trucks, and the cars going by. And on the inside of my office, it was on mute, but there was Morning Joe, and there was the world going by, the trucks of politics, and the yakety, yakety, yakety. And there was the thing going, the cars going by, and the birds hopping in and out of the porch, and my thoughts going by. What am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? And yet, this simple feeling of being just held it all together. The simple feeling of being just now, just this, you see, was okay. And all of this, the trucks and the birds and the talky talk on the TV, and what am I going to talk about? I may not, what am I going to do? And all of that stuff just began like the wrinkles on the orange peel, and suddenly the feeling of being is the juice inside, you see, the juice. So anyway, then I had the thought too. Usually I go to the bathroom before I come here, and that's when I always get a good thought in there. And so the thought was that maybe that what I'm doing here is a project, is an experiment. And do you remember when the internet first became popular, and you would have these webcams, and somebody would put a webcam in their living room, and you would just watch them eat and read the paper, and we would just sit there and watch them. Wasn't that interesting? Just somebody's day to life. And apparently they enjoyed doing it, having that camera, being live, to being watched. It's being watched, I'm being seen. Can I relax? Can I be myself when I'm being watched? Now that's a big thing for me, because when I sense that I'm being watched, I can't do anything. I forget how to spell Wednesday. I can't open, I put the rack on the dishwasher on the door, and it fit, damn it, fit. Because I'm watched, you see. So that feeling of being watched creates an anxiety. Somebody's watching. Are you looking at me? So we ride on a subway in New York. You don't look at anybody, because if you watch somebody, are you looking at me? What's the matter with you? Get your eyes off me. And I know in the movies about boot camp, the DI, drill instructor, don't put your eyeballs on me. And if you go see the king or somebody high up, there's a reverence, you don't stare at them, So this feeling of being looked at. And so now you're looking at me. Now, is that going to, I guess my project is, can I relax with this and just come to this Facebook Live as if I'm just going into the kitchen and getting a cup of coffee? You see, is there anything special? Is there anything? It's just this. Can I, so this is a project. Can I relax and just come here to this 15, 20, 30 minutes. I don't really have a time limit set. I don't want to go over 30, but just come here, turn on, plug in, turn on, and just be this, you see. Completely free of any anxiety that I won't know what to say, that I will not be able to open the box, that I'll be I can't spell Wednesday, or I can't put the dishwasher tray on the door. It won't fit. So can I come here and just say something and just talk and just be here, just be me, just be absolutely the pure me here without any anxiety about being exposed, about being revealed, about being caught in the open, not being able to put the dishwasher basket in the dishwasher, you see, or not being able to spell Wednesday, you see. So it's kind of like as I unfold this, because I'm not doing Tolly talks anymore, because I found that it was drying up. I was hanging on to Tolly as a reference, something that would be, even though I didn't plan out what I was going to talk, it would be a direction. You see, I could hold on to Tolly. Hold Tolly's hand. Whose hand do we have to hold? We hold on to the scripture. I get on to conversation with people on Facebook, and if they're very good religious people, they hold on to scriptures like, and they just quote scriptures. What do you feel? Well, here's a scripture about what I feel. Or a philosopher, or a non-dual, or a mystical, whatever. Well, here's what Ramana Maharshi says, or here's what Krishnamurti says, or here's what Tolly says. Well, what do you say? Well, here's what Tolly says. Well, what do you say? Well, here's what Krishnamurti said. Well, what do you say? Well, here's what Jesus said, you see. Who are you? Who am I? Can I just be here without scriptures to shore me up, without being a corset on of Eckhart Tolle, or a corset of Krishnamurti, or Ken Wilber? Can I be here with no clothes on? Can I be exposed? You see, so that's an experiment. I'm going to test it out. I'm going to try. See if it works. You see, I'm going to come here with nothing, with absolutely nothing. And even today, I came with a couple of thoughts, but it's not that I can't have a thought. It's just that if I have one, I have one. If I have something to say, I'll have something to say. If I don't, well, I don't. But at the same time, can I be here with just the simple feeling of being? Can I be here with you with just the simple feeling of being here? Of just this, you see. And not having any expectation. And without expectation, there's no failure. If I don't expect anything to come out of it, then I can't be disappointed if nothing comes out of it. You see. But at the same time, does something come out of it? In other words, is there any truth in just simply the simple feeling of being? Is there any reality there? Are we afraid of it? Are we afraid that if I'm just simply who I am, I won't be worthy? Is there a fear that if I'm not just simply this, you won't listen to me? Or I'll be foolish, you see, or I'll be exposed, or I'll be caught in the eye of the other, and deer in the headlight. You say, you see, right? So I'm just experimenting with that, and it's an invitation, actually. So I'm inviting you to jump into this, just this being here. Just this feeling of now, of being here, and trusting that there is something worthwhile here, that you are here, that the true you, your true self, is the one that is just a simple feeling of being. And it's not all the props and the stage management and the scripts and the crutches and the authorities and the credentials, all of that. That's not who you are. That's not who I am. We have to get down to the simple feeling of being. Like Thoreau, just the simple, you talk about the simple feeling of nature. Well, you are nature. I'm nature. That's being. And there's no division here. There's no, oh my God, or maybe I won't, or what happens if, or all of that, you see. That's all on the orange peel. We want to get down to the juice, just the juice of just being here, and see what happens if we just do that. We have to experiment with it. We have to jump in. You can't get wet unless you jump in the pool. So for me, this Facebook Live is a little pool of just being here, and I'm experimenting to see if I can come here and do a talk and have it being no more different for me than going to the kitchen and getting a cup of coffee. I go to the kitchen, get a cup of coffee, I come here, do a talk. I go right on Facebook. I may watch a little bit of Morning Joe. I may go on the front porch, or I may vacuum the floor. It's all just this. And there's nothing any more special in this project from talking to you live than vacuuming the floor. It's all being. It's all just this, you see. So it's an experiment. And we'll see how it goes. So thanks for dropping in to this simple feeling of being.